Smart bulb versus smart wall switch. There are plenty of significant issues to consider when deciding whether to use a smart bulb or a smart switch. There are also a few other factors and circumstances that could influence the choice one way or the other. In this video, we will talk about smart bulb versus smart wall switch. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Smart home lighting has a lot to offer. From the convenience of lights that switch automatically when you arrive at home from work, to the security of lights that cycle on and off to simulate occupancy while you're away on vacation. Smart lights and smart switches both have their own set of benefits, and you may find that one or the other is more suited to your smart home setup. In other words, smart lamps and switches aren't always better. It all depends on your preferences. To assist you in deciding, let's look at why you might want to add smart switches and bulbs to your smart home. Smart light switches and smart bulbs, if you're not familiar with them, are technologies that revolutionize how you light your home. Bluetooth, Zigbee, and Z-Wave connectivity are available with most common Wi-Fi enabled devices. You may need a second hub to connect to your home Wi-Fi network to access Zigbee, Bluetooth, and Z-Wave compatible lights and switches. Wi-Fi compatible switches are self-explanatory because they link to your home's wireless network. That's a quick rundown of the wireless protocol used by smart lights and switches. It's simple to replace your existing bulb with a smart bulb. It's as easy as unscrewing the old bulb and screwing in the smart light. If you want to install light switches, you need to hire an electrician. If you're confident in your abilities to do it yourself first, cut your main line. You can do it from your circuit breaker. You should have a tester nearby to check if the lines are still live. If you get electrocuted, it's better to be safe than sorry. Getting into trouble isn't worth it. Go for it if you're confident in your ability to perform the assignment independently. You should also consider how many rocker switches your existing switch has. Check to verify if those switches also have neutral wires. Do some study before you buy one. Installing a light switch is no joke. The benefit of a smart switch is that it can control multiple lights at the same time. What if you want your HomeKit enabled home to be able to control your existing lights and fans? By installing an in-wall switch or two, you can add wireless control to your fans and lights without breaking the bank. Two of my home's 4 fan fixtures, for example, had wiring for both the fan and the morning. I was able to install dimmer switches for the lights and on-off switches for the fans in those 2 locations. I went with simple on-off switches for the rest of the rooms. You will save a lot of money if you have a single switch that can turn on or off 4 lights instead of buying switches for each bulb. A smart switch does not allow you to modify the color temperature or the color itself. Smart switches, not light bulbs, replace the light switch on your wall. They can turn the light fixture's bulbs on and off and possibly dim them, but they can't change the bulb's color. If you want to add some fascinating splashes of color to your home or set the mood in a space, smart lights are your best bet. In this case, the smart light bulb comes into action. The temperature of smart bulbs can be changed from cool white to warm white. Smart switches are the only way to turn lights on and off. A smart bulb is a better alternative if the switch you're replacing only controls one light. I only propose a smart switch if it controls 3 or more lights. Other light switches are available in various gang configurations ranging from 1 to 4. The gang refers to the number of rocker switches on a single plate. If this is the case, a smart light switch is the way to go. Another thing to think about when buying either one is whether or not you've ever had any issues with them. The most common difficulty is when they lose connectivity. However, this is an easy problem to overcome with a smart light bulb. The issue will be remedied 9 times out of 10 by turning off the bulb's control switch and then turning it back on. On the other hand, smart switches cannot be troubleshot by just turning on and off the switch. It will be challenging to resolve a problem with a smart switch. If you have issues with smart switches, you may need to cut off the power through your circuit breaker and then turn it back on. So if you have a high-speed internet connection and a mesh network, I highly recommend using smart light switches to avoid having connectivity concerns. However, suppose you only use the modem router combo provided by your internet service provider. In that case, you'll be okay with only the smart bulb. Every smart home uses one of 4 wireless protocols to connect to the internet. For starters, Wi-Fi bulbs and switches will work. And as your experience grows, you may add devices that require a Zigbee or Z-Wave compatible hub. The ideal option is to buy a SmartThings hub. However, supply from big retailers is currently scarce. Habitat is your best bet because Samsung no longer makes these hubs. Philips Hue devices are accessible if you have additional cash and are interested in the bulbs. Zigbee technology is used in the majority of their gadgets. They are commonly used for light switches and come with their own hub. Lutron Cassette is my preferred brand since they have a wide choice of gadgets with stunning designs that you can use in your living room without being embarrassed by how they look or perform. There are various options available, but I favor eLight's line of products. From light fixtures to RGB bulbs, they're dependable and economical. I also have light switches that are connected to the internet. Skip this TP-Link and Bluetooth device if you don't want a headache. The range isn't fantastic, and it's not the finest overall. If you don't rent, smart switches are great if you have additional money to invest because you'll need to employ an electrician to install them and have a reasonably fast internet connection. Of course, there are other variables to consider. Still, if you're just beginning to start, a smart bulb is a fantastic option because it's easy to set up and inexpensive. The biggest downside is that if a visitor or family member turns off the switch, the ability to manage via voice, routines, and automation is lost. Smart switches demand some electrical wiring knowledge because they replace regular light switches with wireless ones. Every smart switch I've tried has been effortless to install. Smart switch manufacturers tend to over-explain, and most include all of the necessary hardware in the box. You must operate with electrical wiring, which requires some understanding and extreme caution. Although there are standard regulations for residential wiring, the design of your home wiring may vary. You could end up with multicolored cables emerging from your wall depending on how each room is wired to give power to outlets and lighting. Simply said, understand what you're doing before removing the faceplate. If you are unsure of what you are doing, hire or contract someone who is. If you are unsure about installing smart switches, consult a specialist or use smart bulbs. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Do you live in a rented house or flat? Renters should avoid in-wall switches at all costs. Depending on the terms of your lease, you may have violated it by removing the hardware that came with your home. Examine your agreement, talk to your landlord, and save all of the original hardware installed when you moved in. Remember to return the original fittings and keep your boxes after leaving. Smart bulbs are a better option if your landlord does not allow you to install switches. Better to be safe than sorry. What do you think of our video? Let me know about your favorite part of the video in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more home automation videos, subscribe and leave a comment saying I subscribed. I'll personally reply to your comment below. See you next time. Thanks for watching.